And we are live, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome along to the PlayStation GL, Xbox GL YouTube channel. And we are live here from Spa-Francorchamps for the Belgium Grand Prix, round number 3 of the Formula 5 World Championship from PSGL. And I'm very excited to be commentating this race for you, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Icerelix, and I'm going to be your only commentator for this race today. Here, as we just get ready for the start of the race, there will be a delay of 5 minutes per the director of the F5 division, MMA Slash. We are going to have a 5-minute delay. Meanwhile, let's talk about the championship because it has been a chaotic first couple of rounds so far in the championship. But right now, Dertamo, with 2 second-place finishes, has found himself in the lead of the championship. 12 points each in his first few races, so he has had a very good start to the season so far, and he finds himself at the top of the sheets. It's Tim Wentic still in second position, though it was a pretty horrid race in Silverstone, acquiring no points in that round of the championship. He is tied with MMA Slash for third position in the championship, who had a DNF in the first race but came back with the victory and a full 16 points to his name. Also tied in fourth position is VER Mike K. He's in fourth position for the Mercedes team with 16 points, a third place finish, and 6 points added on in the second round. It is fourth place for VER Mike K. Rounding off the top 5 at the moment is Little Romanino in the Haas car. He has a 6th points finish and an 8th points finish in rounds 1 and 2 respectively. So it has been a hot start for our drivers today. In the constructors standings, it is Renault who currently leads the constructors. A single point netted to them in the first round, but a full 26 points in the second round of the championship, with Red Bull behind him, Dertamo and Captain Cocky. 12 points in the first and 12 points in the second round, respectively, have put them at 24 points to 27 points ahead, which are Renault. So a very tight battle right now in the constructors. Third place is held by the Racing Point outfit, who, again, they didn't have a great race last week, only netted 3 points in the second round at Silverstone, so they'll be looking for a comeback here today in Belgium. And it is the Haas team who is in fourth position at the moment. Little Romanino and Devin netting 6 points in the first round and 13 in the second round. So they are in 19 points at the moment. Still very, very close in the constructors. The only constructor without points so far, Lewis and JT Giletto with 0 points for the first 2 rounds. Rather shocking. I think a lot of people expecting the AlphaTauri team to come in very strong this season. It hasn't worked out quite yet, and they find themselves on the back foot early on in this championship battle here in PSGL. But we're just about to get set for action. There's 2 more minutes to go until the beginning of round number 3 of the championship. It's the final round before we head on into the winter break. And let's get set, ladies and gentlemen. We have pretty much all 20 drivers on the grid, so it's going to be a full grid here today with, I believe, just one reserve. It's Dertamo right there, Captain Cocky, Tim Wentic, MMA Slash, BRT Matthews, Devin, GeForce Swaggy XL, Gary, Lewis, JT Giletto, VER Gilles is the man in the McLaren that will be reserving today. Matt Tebos in the McLaren, QVR Cortez and Spaghetti Chips in the Alfa Romeo. Brandon Glover in the Haas, Little Romanino in, Brandon Glover in the Williams, Little Romanino in the Haas. Michelizzi in the Racing Point, VER Mike K and Mark C, both in the Mercedes cars. Of course, Ollie Flavel in the Williams, and of course myself in the spectator view. And we are just getting underway right now, ladies and gentlemen. Session start time is about to get underway, and we will get set for short qualifying action here in the Ardennes Forest for Spa-Francorchamps. One of the most classic tracks on the F1 calendar. It's been around since the 1950s. It really is one of the original circuits that we've had the pleasure of racing around here in the world of Formula 1. Of course, also hosts to many other types of races, including the 24 Hours of Spa, a also very awesome race for sure. The modern circuit with the pit lane, with the bus stop chicane, that's started in 2007. Currently, the present track is a 7.0 kilometer track, or 4.3 miles. It is one of the longest tracks on the F1 calendar. 19 turns and 2 DRS detection zones on this track. The lap record, a 146.2. Held by Valtteri Bottas in the Mercedes in 2018. And that's the track we'll be driving around here today. If the stands were open for the Belgium Grand Prix this season in the real world of Formula 1, it could hold upwards of 70,000 people. But the stands will be filled today here, of course, in the real virtual world of PSGL. So let's get set, ladies and gentlemen. Here we are for 18 minutes of non-stop action and short qualifying. The short qualifying rules are simple. 18 minutes of non-stop action. Drivers are allowed to go out as many times and try to set as many lap times as possible for the ultimate goal of claiming pole position here today in the round in Belgium. And we already hear some engines starting to go off and flying. We definitely hear a Mercedes getting ready. There is a McLaren coming out, and that looks to be XBGL, who, of course, as we said, is reserving today in the McLaren car alongside Matt Tebos, and he has some problems coming out of the pit lane right there. As you can see right there, he had contact with the wall exit. Thankfully, no damage on the McLaren, but that's not a good way to start off your qualifying session here today. But nonetheless, we'll see how he can handle the winding uphill and downhill roads of the Spa-Francorchamps circuit right here. Many different iterations of this track before, but the current modern track, very, very different from the old-time track that maybe a few of you have seen in the past before. It really is my favorite track on the F1 calendar, and I'm sure it's going to bring some very exciting racing here today. And there is Tim Wentic right there, second place in the championship, and he is falling behind XBGL, and he actually looks like he wants to get ahead of the VER driver, and he's not able to find an avenue just yet. So we'll see if he backs off or he decides to try to make the overtake. But Gilles being a little bit of a blocker right now. And you can see, right there, Tim Wentic trying to get ahead of him. And he has just decided to back out of that one. He's not interested in first lap antics here in short qualifying. So we will probably have to ride on board of Gilles right here to start off our first laps here in qualifying as he's warming up his tires as he's going to come towards the bus stop chicane to begin his first lap of the session. You're watching PlayStation GL's live coverage of Formula 5 action. It is short qualifying here at Spa-Francorchamps for round number 3 of the championship in Formula 5. And XBGL is going to start us off here in qualifying. And there he goes across the start-finish line and opening up into turn number 1, cutting in close, getting back on the power early. Now he comes up to the famous parts of the track. It's Erosion Radion. A little bit of a tap of the wall right there, keeping it close to the corner. Now up towards Radion, keeping the car pretty stable right there. Now back on the power, of course. It's pretty much flat through Radion, so he's kept the throttle on all the way through so far. And then that DRS zone down the Camel straight into Lacombe, and using as much curve as possible into the end. Pulling it through the corners in the McLaren right there as he's looking on fire right now. Tim Wentic on a lap as well, though he might have invalidated that one right there. Let's get the lap data up. Let's also get the tires that currently are fitted on the cars today. Actually, it's still a valid lap for Tim, so that's good to see. And all the drivers except for MMA Slash have elected to start their first laps on the soft compound tire. We expect all of the top 10 to go onto the soft tires and go for a soft-medium strategy in this race. Only 22 laps in these 50% races here at Spa, so not a super long race in terms of laps, and that should be good for them. But we'll have to see how it works out. We probably expect outside the top 10, most likely going to try the medium to soft strategy. So we'll see how each of them work out for all the drivers. And there have been a few retirements already. Brandon Glover has had a problem, and he has crashed in Sector 2. And where was this incident? Trying to see exactly where he had that crash, but somewhere in Sector 2, he has had an accident. So Brandon Glover already out of qualifying, and that has not been the start to his session. XL Gary's not going to be setting a valid lap here. In fact, a lot of drivers have invalidated their first times. JT Toledo still on the lap. VER Mike K is going to start us off 141.3, and MMA Slash ahead of JT Toledo, and the times are just flying by in. Little Romanino P2. Here comes JT Toledo, splits up those two drivers. Michelizzi going for fastest, and let's see if we can catch a few more times. About to come in. There is Dertamo. He's invalidated as well, so there's a lot of invalidations in this first part of qualifying. Captain Cocky is about to get a lap in for the Red Bull team. Let's see what he can do, and he's going to go P6, 142 flat for him, so not the time he would like to have. Probably going to want to go a little bit quicker than that. And G-Force Swaggy now in the Ferrari. He's going to try to set a time. QVR Cortez has gone second fastest for all but a little bit as he goes down the third. G-Force Swaggy now goes up into third position, and Devin in the Haas goes up into second position. So P2, a hot commodity right here in qualifying. And then BRT Mathias, 141.2 with a big time there from the Renault driver, and he is on a roll right now. Some really excellent qualifying performances, and it is a new man on provisional pole, and it is held by BRT Mathias. Mike K sits in second. Devin down to third position after that mega lap from the Renault driver. XL Gary is on another invalidated lap, so he is going to probably have to come into the pit lane again if he wants to set another lap time. MMA Slash has invalidated this particular lap on those medium tires, so he may have to go into the pit lane again as well. Spaghetti Chips right there in P20. He is on a timed lap right now, but it is not a timed lap that he is going to be very happy about, and I'm sure he'll be going to the pit lane. And invalidation on the first lap has not netted him a qualifying time at the moment. In fact, a majority of the grid still, well, about half of the grid, in fact, does not have a time on the board. So a little bit of an oddity right here. A lot of drivers invalidating their first few laps. Not too sure necessarily where those invalidations are coming from. It's not the easiest track to invalidate around here in Belgium. Not a few locations to make corner cuts, but those drivers have found those areas and are cutting them justly. But unfortunately also being handed penalties out justly. So that's our order at the moment. Mathias, Mike K, Devin, Swaggy, Cortez, JT Toledo, Little Romanino, Michelizzi, Tibos, and Captain Cocky, 1 through 10 right there. And the rest of the grid is ordered up at the moment by seemingly random oddities, as neither of them have time. None of them have times at the moment, though a few of them currently on outlaps at the moment. VER Jules is out again for another lap, and we'll see what he can do in the McLaren this time. Dertamo, who is currently leading the championship in F5, he is out on the soft tires. Lewis this time is elected on his outlap to start on the medium tires. So we're going to see how this works out for him. It would be rather nice, of course, for him to get into the top 10 on that medium compound tire. He will be a little slower at the start, but he will have a big tire advantage in terms of pit stops. So could be good for Lewis if he can put himself into the top 10 on that medium compound tire. But it's Mark C right there, also on an outlap on the soft tires. There is Gilles, a big lockup into the beginning of Sector 2. And still keeping it in the paint, having a little bit of trouble right there on the curb, unsettled the car a little bit, but he got it back under control. Very difficult turns if he clipped the curb a little bit too much there. Again, more unstable from the rear. And that McLaren is not looking too hot right now here in this qualifying session. A little bit of a wiggle in a couple of corners so far, so it's not looking too good on the curbs. Now coming towards the end of Sector 2, and it is in fact a purple Sector 2 though, so mind my words, he is going quite quick right now, VR Jules. Can he put himself on pole position here today as he's coming towards the bus stop chicane towards the end of the lap? We're going to see if he can put himself in the top 5 even maybe. It depends how good this final sector is for him. And he's coming now around the final turn right there. And let's see, back on the power, and it's looking pretty good from him. And Jules is going to go third fastest in the McLaren, a 141.4. And that is a great lap time from him. Really stellar lap. And he finds himself up there in third position at the moment. So a very nice lap time from the McLaren driver, and he will be quite happy with that lap. Mark C on a lap as well. Here comes Dertamo, championship leader, coming around that final turn. A little bit of a problem out of the rear end, and it's only going to be P9. So the Red Bull outfit right now, who, as we mentioned, is currently second in the Constructors' Championship, 9th and 12th respectively. Not where they want to start in this Belgium Grand Prix. With about 8.5 minutes left to go, there is not a lot of time to be setting any more laps, but we're going to see how the drivers get along. There is JT Giletto, who has in fact gone fastest in the first sector there in the AlphaTauri on that soft compound tire. So we'll see if he can put himself on pole position here today. Would be very good for the AlphaTauri team, who is, again, without any points so far in the season. And he definitely wants a reversal of fortunes in this current round of the championship before going into the holiday break. It's the final race of 2020 here in PSGL, and it is here in F5. There is no F1 race at the moment. We wish all the people currently competing in the F1 Challenger Series all the best. They are some of the fastest drivers in the world, and they are currently on the hunt to get into the Pro Draft for the next F1 Esports Series. And look at this, JT Giletto is on a massive lap time right now. He's gone fastest in the second sector, down by 0.5 of a second on his previous lap time. So JT Giletto really putting on the thrusters right now here in qualifying, looking for a mega lap here as he's coming into the bus stop chicane. Let's see how he handles it right here. A little bit of a tiny lockup, but not too bad, not too shabby. JT Giletto back on the power out of the final turn. Here it is, and it is going to be pole position. And it's a 141 flat from JT Giletto. A mega lap time from the AlphaTauri driver. Exactly what they need to put on some points here in this Constructors' Championship. And Lewis right there in 17th of out of time. He has to get some better lap times on there if he has any hope of getting close to his teammate, because right now he's without a time at all. Let's ride on board of Tim Wentic right now. He's about to enter into right there. So it looks like he set the 9th fastest time of the session. And we have another faster time. It's Little Romanino, third place in the Haas. G-Force Swaggy onto pole position. 141.039. Hundredths of a second faster than the AlphaTauri driver. It is Italian pride being shown, but ultimately Tifosi is the most happiest of the fan bases here in Belgium, because G-Force Swaggy has put it on provisional pole with about 6 minutes left in the session. So a really nice show right there. Look at the gaps in qualifying at the moment. 141's abroad there, but it's G-Force Swaggy who holds the fastest time at the moment. There is XL Gary. He is a little far away from his teammate. In fact, he's only 16th without a time here, so he's going to have to really put on the pressure at the moment. And there is another faster time that has been set. I just didn't quite see who set that time. As there goes MMA Slash into the pit lane. And let's see how XL Gary can get along here, coming down towards the end of the second sector. And it is, of course, there's no improvement or anything because he hasn't just set a time so far in this session, as he's coming towards the end of his lap time, towards the bus stop chicane. And in fact, I don't think this is going to be a great time from him, because he's really not pushing it too hard. And no, he's going to probably have to go around for another one. So XL Gary looked like he was going in for a moment. And no, actually, XL Gary will go back into the pit lane. So he's going to wait for another lap time. Now, normally I'd say you're safe, but at a track like Spa, where it's very difficult to get around here very quickly, of course, times around the 1:40, he's just going to have to get out of the pit lane pretty much ASAP if he wants to get another time on the board. Ollie Flavel is only going to go 16th in the Williams car right there. So the Williams drivers 16th and 20th at the moment, as Brandon Glover crashing out of qualifying. So the only times not on the board are XL Gary. Lewis only 18th fastest with a 142.9. A pretty dismal effort right there currently in qualifying from the other side of the AlphaTauri garage. And Lewis definitely going to want to improve on another lap time. Is he going to have the time, though? Does he have enough energy? I don't think he does right there. This looks like this might be the end of him for qualifying. It has not been the lap time he was waiting for. So the pit lane is rather busy, full of cars, but not very busy in terms of cars coming out for another lap. As you can see right there, there goes Spaghetti Chips into the pit lane. You're going to start seeing a lot of these cars come out for one more attempt to either keep pole position if you are in fact G-Force Swaggy, or are you somebody like JT Giletto, who just missed those extra hundredths of a second off of their time, and maybe they can find themselves on pole position here today. And VER Jules, he has put in some really awesome performances so far, reserving in F5, and he finds himself 7th right now in qualifying, and he's really putting in a really good effort for the McLaren outfit right here. It's not really some points for McLaren, but it is some points for... We'll see how they get along. So you are watching F5 PlayStation GL. It's round number 3. We're here at the R in Belgium. And it's the final round of 2020 from PlayStation GL. And we're just getting ready for the final few hot laps here in qualifying. Who is going to find themselves on pole position here today in Formula 5? It's going to be a good one, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get set for action. G-Force Slagging now coming out of the pit lane as he is getting ready to start his first lap of the session. There's JT Giletto right there, 2nd position at the moment. BRT Matthias sitting in 3rd position. Ludo Romanino behind one of the Red Bull cars in 4th. And VER Mike K a little bit further along in his lap, coming around in 5th position. There's your top 5 at the moment. Can we see somebody outside of the top 5 who could find himself in that top 5, maybe even put himself on pole? Could be interesting. We'll see if that happens. But nonetheless, we are just waiting for the first laps to get underway. JT Giletto, he's getting pretty close to starting a lap right there. VER Mike K a little bit further back. Michelizzi getting ready. Could he find himself in the top 5? It's a pretty good showing right now so far for him. JT Giletto, though, coming around that final turn behind the McLaren of VER Jules. Can he pick up a little bit of slipstream? This could be the defining moment here. Maybe get himself on pole position. All right, that's Matt Tebos in the McLaren, who's going to be starting a final lap here in qualifying. JT Giletto back on the power early, out of turn number 1, coming towards Air Rouge to the top of Radion. Let's see how he handles it pretty much perfectly, as you'd expect, flat out with these 2020 F1 cars. The amount of downforce being put on them is incredible. Back on the DRS, has the ERS in hot lap mode, using as much of the battery as possible, 160 extra horsepower. If you're in something like the Mercedes in the real world of Formula 1, that's how much power you can get out of that battery pack. It really is an astonishing piece of technology that Formula 1 has had since the year of 2014, once we went to the V6 turbo cars. And oh, JT Giletto has had an invalidation here at the end of qualifying. Gutting for Giletto. He was looking to put it on pole here, but it's not going to happen today. JT Giletto has invalidated this lap. There comes G-Force Swaggy going for one more lap. Can he solidify his pole position time, or will he have to see if somebody else can beat it if he cannot go faster than that 141.039? Qualifying is over. The laps all the drivers are on are the final laps they can set here in this short qualifying session. Tim Wentick puts it P2 ahead of JT Giletto and a mega lap time from the Racing Point driver, and that's the kind of reversal of fortune that this Racing Point team needs to put themselves back up into the top of the constructors. BRT Matthias down to 4th position, as there have been some faster times set. He just hasn't been able to get up to that 141.1 that he had previously. It was a bit of an improvement, and VER Mike K puts it on pole. 140.8. big time from Mike K up into the 140s. Mercedes on pole position, and it's Mike K leading the charge. MMA Slash goes into the 140, 140.9 for the Renault driver, and that's a big lap time from him as well. G-Force Swaggy has gone faster in the second sector. Can he put his car back on pole position? And it is JT Gilletto who's gone down. BRT Mathias up in the third position, 140 for himself. Little Romanino as well. Here comes G-Force Swaggy in the Ferrari, and he is going to go back on pole, 140.7, and it's G-Force Swaggy who has put himself provisionally on pole position, and unless Spaghetti Chips has something to say about it as he goes up to 12, G-Force Swaggy. We still have a few overtimes. Flavel is about to come around for one more lap, and it's actually looking pretty good from Flavel. Can he find himself a little higher up on the grid than normal? And he's up on there. Let's see what the time's going to be from Flavel, and it's going to be best for 17th. Not too much of an improvement right there from him, but it is G-Force Swaggy, and that is pole position for the Ferrari driver, 140.7, a mega lap time, a 10th clear of Mike K. MMA Slash sitting on the second row of the grid ahead of his teammate BRT Mathias. It's a very good performance for the Renault outfit who lead the Constructors' Championship. Tim Wentick, with a great lap time at the end there, will still go down to 6th on the grid. And Michelizzi is all the way down in 16th. He did not have the end of qualifying that he would have liked to have. But there is your grid order there, ladies and gentlemen. What an exciting short qualifying action here in Belgium, as it always is. These drivers putting it all on the line to be the man fastest on track. But G-Force Swaggy is the man who does it. Mike K is going to sit on alongside him. A other great lap time from him, but just a 10th clear is G-Force Swaggy. So it's Ferrari versus Mercedes here at Spa. And it's going to be a pretty classic battle, as it has been the past couple of years, most recently in 2018, between those two giant constructors in the FIA Formula One World Championship. But here we are on the grid. It is sunny skies at the moment, no sign of rainfall here at Spa for round number 3 of the championship. My name is Alex. I'll be commentating this race for you, ladies and gentlemen, and we are just about to get set. 25 seconds until session start of this 50% race here in Belgium. It's going to be a very crazy race nonetheless. If you're joining us, make sure to leave a like and make sure to subscribe to the PSGL XBGL YouTube channel if you haven't already.